Shows live. Hello and welcome to another episode of Crazy Wicked Pinfalls tournament for the Grand Championship. I'm super excited to be here with two very special guests, but it's not just a two-way match. It is a triple threat match. I think our first triple threat match of the show of this tournament. So we've got JJ. He sent me his predictions. They've been locked in. They've been under lock and key. I've only finally been able to open the safe now to be able to see them because I didn't want to touch them. As neutral, I'm basically Switzerland here. I didn't want to touch them. I didn't want to mess with them until it was time to start recording. So his predictions, I will reveal those. They're written on the screen as well. But we've got two awesome guests that are joining us live for this all-out predictions show. This is still round one of the Crazy Wicked Pinfalls tournament for that beautiful championship, the courtesy of Throwback. But first and foremost, I'm going to introduce Bob O'Neill because I think it's only fair that Bob be heroed on this show, seeming, the disrespect that he got on last time's distraction show. I think, Bob, I think you're the face of this show. How are you feeling? Are you ready for this prediction show?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm ready to go. It's exciting. It's a big matchup, going up against Jeremy, and hopefully I can bring home the win.
Yeah, and don't forget JJ. JJ is there as well.
He might not be here. You got to worry about, not me.
I was going to say, if there's anyone to worry about, it's going to be JJ. But you heard a voice if you're listening without watching the videos. But I mean, you don't want to miss the beautiful faces that are just in front of us here. Jeremy, the point guard, welcome to Crazy Wicked Pinfalls Crew Tournament. How are you feeling about your predictions coming into this one?
I'm feeling great. I got very drunk this weekend at a wedding. I'm pretty sure I'm still hungover. I'm going to be in Chicago, so I've already started drinking for this weekend. I'm not drunk at all, but I'm feeling good. I don't want to get in trouble. Somebody's going to watch this, like, Jeremy's drunk on this show. I'm good. I'm going to win.
Awesome stuff. And guys, maybe just quickly before we head into, we've got 10 matches scheduled here, but Jeremy, what thought process were you going in when you were making these predictions that we're going to be revealing? Are you going with your heart here for some of these matches, or just purely going with your head, what you think is they're going to do? And then obviously, does that then influence how you're going to enjoy the show?
I'm very much a gut feeling person. I haven't made my predictions at all. I'm going to look at the card right now, and I'm going to predict on a whim. That is my game plan.
I absolutely love that. Bob, does that throw your game a little bit, that he's coming in hot? He's going to freestyle this.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's a little intimidating, like I looked through this, I took some notes down, and he's just going on the fly, man.
Yep. And just in the background as well, JJ sent me his predictions, I think last week as well. And then as matches were being added, he was just throwing in new match predictions. He was ready to go. He was fired. Predictions were locked in, as I said. I've only been able to look at them now as I entered them. But let's kick this off with the women's battle royal. So we've got currently written on the card Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, Julia Hart, Ty Conti, Diamante, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, and then there are 12 women still to be confirmed. Obviously, we got that Joker that's coming in. Now, I don't know if you guys want to throw in a bonus point for getting the Joker right, but I mean, if everyone's guessing the same person, I guess that would be redundant. But what are you guys thinking? We'll start with you, Bob, as the baby face of this. We got to start with the baby face. Let you get your shots in early, and then Jeremy can respond to that one. But what do you think of this matchup? Who have you got to win? And then maybe a shout for who you've got as your Joker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the winner being announced for the match right now. I think it's one of those other 12 women that we don't know, just because, we've seen Britt and Nyla, we've seen Britt and Thunder Rosa, so it's like, I don't know that you're going to go, if Britt retains, that is, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, it feels like it's going to be one of those surprises. And, I mean, I think, to have the Joker come in and win, whoever it may be, would probably be my pick if I was going to. And I have a strong indication, who the Joker is going to be. I think, like you said, we kind of all have the same person. So, yeah.
I don't have the same person.
Wow. That's bold.
Go on, Bob. Who is your Joker?
Yeah, so I'm gonna my Joker's gonna be Ruby Soho, and she's also gonna be my winner.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'm going to go straight away and just mention the fact that JJ's got the Joker winning this, and it's Ruby as well. So that's kind of a double here in terms of who we think is going to be the winner of this one. Jeremy, are you going to go against the grain here? Yes. Maybe go for someone absolutely, someone we're not thinking about. What's your thought process for
you guys are thinking long term? That's very dumb. Like they're not just gonna do a random Ruby Soho Britt Baker match. They're just gonna put this match on Dynamite, right? This isn't gonna be some type of big match. You got to think smaller here. That's why I'm going with Julia Hart as the winner, and the Joker is going to be Chelsea Green, because every wrestling company loves Chelsea Green.
Well, not every wrestling company loves Chelsea Green, based on certain booking in previous places. And speaking of booking in previous places, our next match is Pac versus Andrade El Idolo. He's obviously going to be with Chavo Guerrero in that one. I mean, this is a match that could absolutely steal the night if they really allow these two to just go. And Jeremy, we've got two guys in here that are probably playing the heels, heel versus heel, and seeming as you are, you've been appointed the heel of this match just because I have the ref shirts and anything I say is official. So what are you thinking about Pac versus Andrade?
I'm very torn on this one. I really don't know who's going to win this, and I'm not even sure if they know who's going to win this. I got to make my prediction now. I got to go first on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to once again be bold. I don't know if anybody's going to win this, and I'm going to say this ends in a time limit draw.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's a left field shout. And I can confirm that this is the first draw predictions that we've had on this show. So, I mean, if the point guard's going to come in, he's going to do something crazy, and he's gone with the draw here. Bob, you spoke about him throwing you off with some of these picks that he was going to be doing. Did you expect a draw?
No, I was not expecting that at all. That definitely, I mean, I can see it, but yeah, I mean, that's a big prediction.
Yeah,
I'm bold. I'm bold. All right, gotta go bold.
He's coming guns blazing. So, Bob, talk us through this one. Pac versus Andrade. What are you feeling?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take Pac. And here's the thing. Like, I know Andrade, he should probably come in and get a big win, but it feels like the intention is to get him paired up with Ric Flair. So, maybe you have Chavo cost him the match, and then they separate, and then, by the time you're able to bring Flair in, I don't know, it seems like it's soon. He's appearing everywhere else these days. So it feels like, Andrade can be like, oh, you cost me the match, I'm bringing in a new manager. Then, you bring in Flair, and he starts winning from there. But I'm going to go with Pac for now.
That's great news for me as a referee, because I can confirm that JJ has gone with Andrade. So we've got 3 different predictions for this match. I think it's safe to say we're now in the territory where hopefully we can't draw at any point in this match, in this matchup. We've had, I think, 2 draws so far on Crazy Wicked Pinfalls predictions show, and we've had to settle those on the following pay-per-views or some sort of do or die prediction that's come up. But everyone in every single round, we do end up determining a winner, because we got to finish this thing by WrestleMania next year. That's when the final is. That's when we'll be doing the big finale, and it should be a big blow up. And I keep using the word big because next up it's Paul White versus QT Marshall. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote KT Marshall on this one. Predictive text, but QT Marshall, and I was using the word big. Maybe I should just be using the word tall, because JJ has gone out the back and he's gone for tall Paul. Tall Paul. Tall Paul. Is anyone else feeling the tall Paul? What's going on here? Bob, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Tall Paul as well here. It would be very weird to have him, wrestle his first match and lose. I know, QT Marshall has his friends with him, but either way, man, I don't see Paul losing that one.
It would be interesting, and it would be something that guns blazing point guard Jeremy would predict, is to go with QT Marshall.
That's right. You guys, they're not pushing these old guys. They're going to bring in Paul White, sure. These old guys they're not the future. QT Marshall, the factory, here's what's going to happen. The factory is going to get involved. Camarado, Solo, a Go-Go is going to come back. A Go-Go going to knock out Tall Paul, leading to QT Marshall winning this match.
Interesting stuff. And of course, Paul White is not, dissimilar with knocking people up with one punch, but this one's going to be probably a gut punch, so that will be interesting to see how he's able to take that one. And if you were watching some of the fights this past weekend, specifically Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, you did see one right hand punch could have someone rocked, and it's very easy for Tall Paul to be rocked with a punch. I mean, he's so tall, he doesn't necessarily have that short center of gravity. One punch could be gone. But we move on to our next match here, guys, and it's for the tag team championship belts. We got the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, versus the winners of the elimination matches that have been going on. It's the Lucha Brothers. That's Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix, with Alex Abrahante, who is low-key one of the MVPs of the pandemic for me. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in his role there. Whoever put him in there did a fantastic job. But I'll go to the point guard. What are we feeling for the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers?
I think the Lucha Bros win by escaping the cage.
Oh, is that not a heel move? Escaping the cage?
No, but see, because all the interference coming in, one side, the Good Brothers are going to try to come in from one side, and the Lucha Bros are going to get out on the other side and thwart their plan.
That sounds pretty solid to me. In terms of JJ's pick, he's got the Young Bucks winning this one. Bob, are you going to split the difference? Which side are you leaning?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lucha Bros too. I'll just take him by pinfall. I can see the escape being a possibility, but I'll just go with pinfall just so we don't have the same one here.
Interesting strategy there. And of course, we move on to a match that I'll be very surprised to see whether or not all of you are going to differ on this one. It's Chris Jericho versus MJF. I mean, Chris Jericho has not won a match against MJF, if memory serves. Is this finally going to be the time that he's able to beat MJF? Bob, obviously he's got that stipulation. I don't know if he got that from Roman Reigns or something, but he's certainly got a stipulation there in terms of his future in AEW being in jeopardy if he's not winning this match. What are you feeling about that stipulation? Does it spoil the match for you in any way? And then what is your prediction?
No, I think it's about time for Jericho to retire. He's got the commentary role on Rampage now, so I'm going to go with MJF. I think it'll kind of boost him up to have retired Chris Jericho, and that's something that he'll be able to keep in his back pocket going forward. So I'm going to go with MJF.
Interesting stuff. And Jeremy, now MJF has already said, not only have I beaten him every time, I think their last match he even then made Jericho tap out. Is there anything more final than making someone tap out? But anyway, they've brought another match out of this. What is your thought process heading into this one?
I think MJF wins, but he wins by DQ. I think Jericho gets DQ'd, and then he says, "You didn't actually beat me," and they run it back for a fifth time.
Oh my God.
It's a never-ending feud. It is the never-ending feud.
I'm usually the neutral, as I've said. Switzerland here. I've got the referees top on, but I dear God, I hope that doesn't happen because I can't take another one of these matches. I just can't. I can't. I'm not watching it. I declare, if this goes another match in the next 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, I'm not watching it. I don't know how you guys are going to get the results for the predictions if they have another match on a predictions show that I'm going to be refereeing. That match is going to be null and void. I'm just going to avoid it. JJ's gone with Chris Jericho, so he's the only one that believes they're not going to retire Chris Jericho, and I was surprised that more people didn't think, lean that way, but I get the reasoning that you guys have brought into this one. We move on to the next match, and speaking of reasoning, I mean, it's Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima, and the reasoning is just Jon Moxley is trying to get any match out of New Japan Pro Wrestling that he can get. And every single time I build myself up with who could possibly be coming stateside, is it harsh to say I get a little bit disappointed because I'm shooting way too high in my dreams? Jeremy, have you also had that struggle where you're thinking maybe it's going to be someone else, and then it transpires to be Satoshi? And no disrespect to Satoshi, I mean absolute legend there, but I expected something different.
I thought we were getting Tanahashi. Unfortunately, we're not getting Tanahashi. Left me very disappointed because I was hoping to see Tanahashi live. But it's going to be Kojima, and I think this plays into Kojima's favor because Moxley's going to be looking past them. He's going to be looking on to Tanahashi. He's going to be looking on to Cincinnati. They're going to be in Cincinnati on Wednesday. Kojima's going to catch him with a roll-up in this match, and and Kojima's going to get the victory.
Wow.
Interesting stuff. John Moxley hasn't lost in quite a while. A roll-up certainly won't damage his reputation, and it is John Moxley, of course. I don't think even any pinfall would damage his reputation, and we've seen sort of news coming out recently that Tony Khan has big plans for John Moxley. He is one of the cornerstones, I think it's safe to say, of AEW. Bob, are you seeing something similar in terms of a shock victory for Kojima?
No, I think Moxley's going to take it. I think, Kojima will come close a couple times, but it's hard to bet against Moxley because, like you said, he really doesn't lose very often.
He really doesn't. And just to echo that, JJ has gone with John Moxley as well. I think he's pretty confident that John's going to be taking this one. I think he's so confident that he may have said he'll eat a hat. Okay. I don't want to steal anyone else's gimmick, and I don't want to put words into JJ's mouth. He's just very confident. That's all. He's very confident that it's going to be John Moxley. A match that I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a brutal match. I'm hoping it's Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Now, I just want them to stand there in the ring and just talk to each other, just cut promos, and then we decide the winner by cheers. I don't know if you're feeling the same vibe here, Bob, or you want to see a match as well.
No, you know what? I do want to see a match. And actually, I'm going to change my original pick. I'm going to use the time limit draw here because this feels like
what a thief.
This feels like a feud that they can stretch out a little bit. They can run a rematch in New York in a couple weeks, and it'll, you can give Eddie his moment there if you want to do that. Or it feels like we've barely scratched the surface here. And I know, they can keep it up after, but that's not usually something that AEW does. So I'm gonna use the time limit draw here.
Brilliant stuff. And I like the fact that you've pivoted here. You've seen what your competition has done earlier. You've taken it, you've stolen his gimmick, and you've made it your own. In true babyface fashion, you've become kind of the bully. I don't know why people keep thinking babyfaces should be the bully, but it seems like you've taken his stick here. Jeremy, are you going to retort here? How do you feel about him taking your gimmick?
I'm not a fan, but O'Neal, I mean, he takes... he always rides our coattails, right? O'Neal is O'Neal because of Joseph and I. I'm going with Eddie Kingston, and I think he just straight up beats Miro. I think he ends the reign. I think he just beats Miro.
Interesting stuff. Eddie Kingston taking that one. Well, once again, we've gone with 3 different results. And I love this because it makes my job so much easier. But JJ has gone with Miro to retain his title. And, branching out a little bit here, thank you for introducing the time draw to this podcast, Jeremy, because I think it's a fantastic idea for Bob to throw that in this one. We know that the next pay-per-view is going to be in New York. Do we want Kingston to be winning it maybe in New York? I think the time draw is a perfect way to extend it and get that coronation in New York. But also, I suppose Eddie walking in with the belt already could be absolutely insane. And then maybe you give him a completely different opponent. And speaking of different opponents, Britt Baker finally has a different opponent. It's Chris Statlander. What are you guys feeling for this match? I don't know if you guys are feeling this match. Maybe it's just me, but it doesn't feel as hyped as some of the other matches she's been involved in of late. Jeremy, I'll start with you on this one.
I mean, their women's division has problems. Unfortunately, they've done a sort of a decent job with this, I guess. I think, I don't know. I think it might be time. Baker's reign just is falling a little flat, and it might be time to go with the alien. Might be got time to go with Chris Statlander.
Wow. You were not wrong when you were saying you're making the big shots in this one. Bob O'Neill, how do you respond to that one? Britt Baker, she's just become champion a couple of months ago. Do you see them taking the title off of her?
Yeah, I don't think quite yet. I think Britt's going to retain. It's just it doesn't feel like the time yet.
It feels quite soon. It feels quite soon. And JJ is in my ear right now, and he's saying it's way too soon. He's got DMD, and he DMD. I forgot to do that earlier, and we don't want to get in any sort of trouble here, guys. So just making sure that the guys in legal don't have to do much paperwork. Britt Baker, DMD, and Britt, I do apologize for not doing that a lot earlier. But you know what? We love you on this podcast. We also love CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I'm hoping I'm not the one that's in love with this matchup, because I think it's a matchup with two guys who probably you could argue could take the defeat, but then you've got CM Punk making his in-ring debut live in Chicago. I'm going to go to the point guard first and foremost, because you're going to be live at CM Punk's first match in 7 years, if not longer.
2014.
7 years.
Yes,
yeah.
January 2014.
Talk me through, the process of getting whether it's tickets or accreditation to be at this event, then realizing CM Punk is going to be having his first match. What was that like?
The process was, I reached out to a mutual friend, Cher Delaware, and said, hey, I want to go to All Out. Can you please, when you're waiting in the line on the queue, can you get us 3 tickets for yourself, myself, and the girlfriend? And that's what she did. I had no expectations of Punk. I didn't care if Punk was there or not. I just wanted to go Chicago for the weekend and go to All Out. The Punk's there, cool. I'm happy for it. But Punk being there, I actually thought about selling my tickets after Punk was announced, because then the prices skyrocketed. And I was like, I can make a profit off of this. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, Punk being there doesn't have much of an effect on me.
Interesting stuff. Bob O'Neill, are you willing to bid for Jeremy's ticket live on the air?
Yeah, he's tried to sell it to me a couple times. I have some stuff going on this weekend, unfortunately, but I will be watching from my home.
Interesting stuff. Guys, if you're in the live chat, I see Ron Patel there. I've got Talks the Talk Pod, who says he's a very positive and not at all pissed off Drew, watching from a completely different side. Now, if you guys watch Crazy Wicked Crew TV and Crazy Wicked Pinfalls on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, you know the result of Drew's matchup against a secret guest. We've got a secret guest that's in this competition that hopefully, if they make it to the finals, they will be revealing themselves. But he lost, and he had to declare whether or not he's going to bow down and acknowledge the secret guest. In that case, he will be allowed to be in the second chance tournament that's happening later on. But otherwise, he's going to be kicked out of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls TV and crew and everything, and he won't be allowed to feature on a show that he's been on weekly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But guys, if for those of you in the chat, if you do have a live bid that you do want to give Jeremy right now and make it well worth his time to give you that ticket, then by all means comment, send us super chats or any sort of chats with what kind of bid you would be willing to send Jeremy for his ticket, and we'll see by the end of the show whether or not he's willing to give that seat up. But and I'm assuming he's only giving up the one ticket. I don't know if the EP is gonna have to go with someone else, or
you get to sit next to the EP, and you get to sit next to Hannah. All right, so you're in good company.
All right, so get those bids in, guys, and we'll see if a couple of them roll in. We might put them on the screen if they're worth the time, guys. But yeah, Jeremy, what are you thinking? CM Punk versus Darby Allin. You're hoping for a Darby Allin squash match here?
Here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna turn into a tag team match. Daniel Bryan, we know he's coming. It's been reported. It's not a secret. I'm not spoiling anything. Bryan's gonna come out. Punk and Bryan against Sting and Darby. Sting picks up the victory.
What happened to the old guys, old news with your tall Paul shot?
That's a different match. They love Sting. Sting's more valuable than Tall Paul. Tall Paul's just doing whatever. Sting doesn't lose. It's a case-by-case basis. Sting is an actual star. Tall Paul, love him. He ain't on that level.
Interesting stuff. Well, in terms of the match itself, I think JJ has gone with a singles match. He's gone CM Punk beating Darby Allin. Bob, what are you feeling for this one?
I think I'm actually going to go with Darby. It's obviously a big match for Punk, his first match back. He's in Chicago, but it just kind of feels like, Darby's been here. He's been wrestling. Punk is, the story can be, Punk is a little caught off guard. He's slowed down a little bit, and Darby, hasn't. And I just think Darby's going to get one over on him, and Punk will be fine. I think between the reaction he gets every week when he comes out and the reaction he'll get here, like him even if he loses. So I'm going to go with Darby.
Darby Allin to win that one. And once again, you know what? You guys have been so good in terms of making sure, whether you planned it beforehand or not, I'm all for this, making sure that you're all picking different people to make it as clear as possible. But guys, let's kind of take this home with the guy from North Carolina, Kenny Omega, with Don Callis versus Christian Cage. I don't know if it's going to main event, but it's certainly main eventing this podcast. What are we feeling? Ron Patel's already said Jeremy is going all BPW with his predictions here. So Jeremy, take us home with your final prediction for this show.
We know Tony Khan is a distraction watcher, a BPW watcher. So of course, these are the ideas that he's going to use, everybody. These are not predictions. These are spoilers. And another spoiler, Christian Cage taking another title home.
Wow, two belt Cage.
Yeah, I also picked Christian here because here's the thing, people are going to want to see Punk against Kenny, people are going to want to see Bryan against Kenny, and those don't need the title. So why not shift the title to someone else? And Christian can have a little bit of a run with it. He's a guy that everyone likes and respects, and having the two belts, it'd be cool. Christian, hasn't been able to wrestle for 7 years, just like Punk.
O'Neil, you're just stealing my predictions. So I'm going to change my prediction, okay? Because I don't want O'Neil stealing all my predictions and getting the points that I'm going to end up getting. Here's my new prediction: Hangman Page enters this match and makes it a triple threat, and Hangman wins this match and gets his rightful title at All Out, like we all wanted. Hangman Page wins the title.
Hangman Page wins the title. O'Neil, you sticking with your prediction?
I'm going to go with Christian, yes.
You're going to go with Christian. And in true form with this podcast, JJ is going to go with Kenny Omega, making it different predictions for all of you guys. Guys, you've said it all. Just a quick shout out to Throwback for obviously starting this predictions tournament, getting the predictions belt. It's a beautiful thing. If you haven't seen it, go check out Throwback's Twitter page. And he just wanted to extend a big thank you to both Robert O'Neil and to Jeremy for coming onto the show. I know you guys have a hectic schedule, but taking the time out, I know he appreciates it. I definitely appreciate it. And all the listeners and fans of the show do appreciate it. JJ, thank you so much for being so on time with your predictions. You sent them in early. Anytime you needed to change anything, any questions I had, asking clarifications for your predictions, you were very quick with your responses. So I appreciate you too. And I'm so glad that you're in this tournament as well. But before we head off, guys, do you have anything you guys want to plug, put over, or promote? Jeremy, we'll start with you.
The Distraction, Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. Bob O'Neill's not on the show this week.
Wow. Okay, Bob. Seeming as you're not on the show, are you even going to promote that show?
Well, no. You should still watch it. Just don't watch it this week because I'm not on it. But follow me on Twitter at Robert O'Neil 31.
Awesome stuff. And obviously, Robert, taking Bob off the show is a risk in terms of ratings. We know ratings are important in the wrestling world. Are you worried at all about that, Jeremy?
No, we have the biggest surprise ever on Thursday at the 4 p.m. spot where O'Neil usually is. Trust me, it'll get bigger ratings than O'Neil.
From my perspective, guys, go check out Wicked Crazy Crew Pinfalls. It's going to be Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then also just a final thought, guys, as we head off the air. What were your thoughts on Drew losing to the secret guest? He's been pitching that he's two belts Drew. He was going to take this title. He was going to win any title that was going to be created on Crazy Wicked Pinfalls, and he was just going to reign over everyone. He was the self-dubbed head of the table of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls, but he did lose his match to the secret guest who got 100% of their ratings correct. Bob O'Neill, what are your thoughts on Drew losing that one?
That's rough. I know Drew has been talking a lot, and hopefully he does the right thing. You lose and it happens, and you just gotta move on.
And Jeremy?
I disagree. I think Drew was robbed. Why has he got to face a secret guest? He's two belts Drew. He's the head of the table. He should know his opponent. I think it was a conspiracy against Drew. I don't even think there should be a second chance tournament. I think Drew should just be allowed back into this.
Yep. Well, look, if there's a strong enough plea for Drew to be let back in, and there is a conspiracy theory that is unraveled.
I'm stamping Drew to be allowed back into this. He should be back in.
Well, Drew's got one vote to be back in. And if there's a documentary that is being filmed, I heard murmurs that there might be a documentary being filmed to expose the conspiracy that happened to Drew. But guys, as we're heading off, I just want to confirm, Point Guard, do you have a show at 5 p.m. that you want to promote?
Yes, Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Joseph and I will be reviewing the NWA stuff from this weekend.
Awesome stuff. And thanks to Ron Patel for mentioning that. Guys, until next time, goodbye.